So, guys, welcome back to episode 20 of Crossover Convos. We are joined by OJ Rosé. How's it going, sir?
Doing good, man. Just got back from New Orleans from Misfits '06 debut. I'm living life.
Yeah, congrats on your victory, by the way, bro. But now it's been a couple of days. What's your overall thoughts on your performance?
I know I did good, man. We worked hard for this camp because it's going to be a real fight against a real fighter, and I performed.
Yeah, definitely. And what was your thoughts when you first got the call to be on Misfits '06?
So what I wanted, man. If you had the opportunity, you got to take that shot. You can never let it go by.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to ask as well, so how did your train compare from this fight? How does that compare to your other fights?
Only other fight I had was that tag team match back in February. So this one, I had to take it more seriously. I didn't have a partner to back me up. It's me, myself, and I, 10-ounce gloves, and my opponent. We had to get the job done. I worked hard, man. It's a really hard camp.
Yeah. So, and then who do you want next? Any names in mind? I know you've been calling out B Dave, Nick Carameo.
Of course, I'd love the B-Day fight, whether it be a tag team with Pineda or one-on-one. I'm with it. I'll take Raksu. I'll take any of these guys that have been in the scene for a little bit because I already passed a couple levels when I just on my debut. So I got to go a little bit higher.
Yeah. And jumping back a bit, what was also your thoughts when you found out you'd be fighting Kimbo Slice Jr.? Was that like surreal to you or
Man, it was a big name. We couldn't turn that down, man. Win or lose, we couldn't turn that down. Going my first fight ever on Misfits, a name like that,
yeah.
I think it's a blessing.
Yeah, and what was it like when you walked out? Because obviously you only had the tag team match before, so was it more pressure? Was you nervous? Talk us through how you felt before you walked out.
Walking out, we actually had some issues because they kept calling us out and putting us back in the room and calling us back out again. So we had, my adrenaline kept going up and down, up and down.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
eventually we got out there and walk. I had a good walkout song, so I was no pressure there. Just walked out, got the job done.
yeah.
And so as well, is there anyone in this Kingpin tournament? You've been watching the Kingpin tournament. Is there any names on that you would be interested in fighting?
I want to fight Zanetti. I feel like that'd be a good war. I'd like to
That would
brawl
be
out
good.
a little bit. That'd be a good fight, me and Zanetti.
Yeah. What did you think of Zanetti giving up with FaZe Jarvis? What did you think of that?
You can tell prepare for this fight who didn't. Jarvis had a good camp. He's at Mayweather Gym back in Vegas or California, so he's with the best of the best. I don't
Yeah.
know who's with, but they didn't train as hard as they should have.
Yeah. Who do you have winning the overall Kingpin tournament for the men and the females, if you know the female ones?
I think Barbie's going to win the female. She's just too big. She rehydrates a lot after the weigh-ins because she's a tall girl, a big girl.
Yeah.
And for the guys, I'm saying either Nunez or Gibb.
Oh yeah, yeah. Nunez is a show. Did you see that Whindersson Nunez? KSI said he would pay him triple to leave Kingpin to fight him.
Yeah, that's going to be a good fight. Even if it's after Kingpin, those are the two biggest names on YouTube right now.
Yeah,
People don't know that he's big back in Brazil. He has hella followers in Brazil.
yeah.
Let's go back to Kimbo Slice for a minute. What was the main thing you prepared for in camp for to prepare for that fight?
Fundamentals, man, the 1-2, footwork, and cardio. I had to be in shape because he's a fight he's fought before. He's been in those later rounds and deep water. I had to be in the best shape of my life. I had to work on my fundamentals, the basics, just a jab, keep my hands up, things like that.
Yeah, and then what do you think was the best and worst attribute that Kimbo Slice brought on the fight on the night?
His best attribute, he has good hooks. He has a good right uppercut, very quick uppercut. And his worst attributes, I'd say that he didn't know how to stop me, if that makes sense. He didn't know how to stop my pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think that is one thing what did shock Kimbo Slice Jr. a little bit? The fact he probably thought he would come out, pressure you, hurt you, but it turned out the opposite.
Yes, that was the plan all along. We knew he couldn't take it too hard because he's seen some of his other footage. He gasses out quickly, but put the pressure on from round one to the end. Got the job done.
Yeah. Do you want to fight on Misfits again, or is there another promotion? Would you consider maybe a tournament on Kingpin if that was available?
I want to do Misfits for the time being. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the right choice.
yes, sir.
it's
It's where
the
all the
the win
power at.
Yeah.
So when you can get out on Misfits?
We're looking at July. Looking at July or August right now because they already have the June 10th card booked up, apparently, the one in Nashville. So I got to wait for the next one.
Yeah. And then as well, before the Kimbo Slice Jr. fight, there was a lot of controversy around the stoppage. Do you think it was an early stoppage, or do you think it was the right decision?
If you can say it's early, it's 2 seconds early because I was going to keep throwing my hands regardless. So it is what it is.
Yeah. In your future training camps, what do you want to improve on with yourself? What would you like to improve? Is it your jab, a hook, uppercut, movement?
I want to improve keeping my hands up because in that last little flurry at the end, when I got the KO, the stoppage, my hands were all around my waist. So he could have caught me. So keep him back up here to prevent any bad, anything like that from happening.
Yeah. What got you also started in boxing? Like, what drove you to start boxing, getting a fight?
Well, I was getting traction on TikTok around the same time as KSI and Logan Paul too. And I was like, there you go. I can be on that card. I make content. It's YouTube boxing. Let me hop in.
Yeah.
And I worked on the card. That was my first ever big shot, and the rest is history.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, your content, because I actually heard of you before your fight because of all your skits. By the way, some of your skits are just funny, especially when you play the nerd who goes up and just boxes people. That's classic. But what inspired you to start YouTube, and when did you actually start creating content?
Took me kind of like 2 years ago, back when I was in college. I was in college. I was bored out of my mind. I didn't like school that much. It wasn't really for me.
Yeah.
Made my own content. I blew up on the video. It was a prank video, Dana on niche video. And then for the rest, I just kept running out, man. I got my variety of pranks. I got the fake employee pranks. I got the pillow fights, videos. So I just kept grinding it out, and I got 400K followers, give or take. So
yeah.
Did you ever think you would be in the position you're in now, where you've got the 400K followers and you're able to fight on Misfits?
Eventually, man, because I work hard. Believe it or not, I work hard. Hard work always pays off.
Yeah. And also, if you could pick anyone that does make content, any of your friends, anyone you look up to, who would you like to see get on Misfits Boxing?
His name is Larry 1K. He's a TikToker, YouTuber. His name is Larry 1K. We make similar content. I want to see if he can get hands,
Yeah. And also, Salt Papi, who do you think would win a fight between Salt Papi and KSI?
If it's right now, without seeing his performance against Fournier, I'll say Papi. We'll see after this Fournier fight.
Yeah. Do you think KSI will win against Joe Fournier, or do you think it'll be Joe Fournier who gets the victory?
I think he'll win, but it'll be by a decision. I don't think he's going to knock him out.
Yeah.
So, as well with the Misfits 006 card, other than your fight, what was your favorite fight on the card?
Favorite fight on the card, besides mine, obviously. Let's see here. I think they were all pretty evenly matched. I like Yuddy Gang versus Uncle Pizza.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a robbery. They were very skilled for low-level TikTokers, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Are you surprised that some of the people in Misfits who maybe everyone thinks they're going to lose, but then when they come out, they've got amazing boxing skill? Does that sometimes surprise you?
It should surprise y'all from now on because as they bring in more and more smaller creators, people are taking this stuff a little more seriously because there's money involved. So you can see that. You can see smaller names that actually have a little bit of skill behind them.
Yeah. Is there any other influencers who train alongside you?
Not at my gym, no.
No, yeah. Well, that's okay. And then, so in the future, obviously, Cal asked your top 5 opponents, but if you could have anyone right next, who would you pick your next fight?
I say DDG.
Oh, DDG. Yeah, I think you would easily win that fight.
I want that fight, man. I used to watch him on YouTube. Now, as my own creator, I want to, take it down.
Yeah, I think that would sell as well. And also on the note of that, with your content, what's your goals for the future? Say in the next year, where would you like to see yourself?
I want to see myself an established content creator, YouTuber, and crossover boxer. I want to have 1 million subs on YouTube. I want to get my Twitch going as well. I want my TikTok to keep thriving. I want to keep boxing in the background, 6 fights, so get my name up, record up.
Yeah, yeah, and you've definitely got the personality to get more known as these fights go on.
Yes, sir. That's the goal. That's the plan.
Yeah.
What's your end goal with the boxing? Is it just, become an influencer boxing champion in your weight division, multiple weight division? What's happening?
I'll definitely go up a little bit to 175. Highest I probably go is 180. And then I'll just defend my belts or keep going, and then I'll keep doing YouTube as well. Keep making content, keep doing pranks, keep doing vlogs till I get a million subscribers at least.
Yeah, yeah, that's a shout. And what's your favorite part about the training camp, and what's your worst part about training camp?
The worst part is that's the stuff that y'all don't see, like the hours of me getting up in the morning, sometimes twice a day, and getting that grind in. The running, the skipping rope, the endless sparring. This stuff is not easy, man, but it pays off in the end. I love that last winning that fight, getting it stopped early was the best feeling I could have asked for because this was a hard camp. Six weeks, getting up at 6 a.m., working out twice a day, all pays off for that to win a fight.
Yeah, definitely. And talk us through sparring there. You've went on about it. Have you ever sparred any professionals or any top ranking boxers?
I spar pros, but not top rankers. Like a 4-0 pro, a 1-0 pro, and lots of amateur boxers.
Yeah. Have you ever been dropped or hurt in sparring?
Not really, no.
Well, I see a lot of these influencer boxers and boxers in general, to be fair, saying like, as you go through training camp, sometimes you still have those moments of self-doubt. Did you have any of those for this upcoming fight?
Around the time when we announced the fight, the posters and stuff, I saw all the comments were saying it was a mismatch. I was gonna get knocked out because they saw me, a content creator, and they saw a 3-3 pro Bellator fighter. It didn't look like it was gonna be a fair match, but I put the work in. I know what I did in camp. I don't know what he did in camp. I know what I did in camp, and I worked very hard, so I know I can do it.
Yeah. Talk us through that. How did it feel with everyone saying you were going to lose, and then obviously when you won, what was that feeling like when you went on Twitter and you were seeing everyone like, oh.
I mean, deep down, I knew I was going to win from the start. I tried to make y'all believe. I believed in myself from the very get-go. My job was to put in the work and make sure that on fight night, y'all believed it too.
Yeah, yeah, and talk us through what's the best pieces of advice you've ever been told, with that being content creation or boxing. What's the best advice?
Consistency is key. That's the number one key. No matter what you do, content creation, boxing, anything in life, consistency has got to be key.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people say that it's that saying in it, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work.
That's also very true. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But luckily here we got both, so we ain't worried.
Yeah, as well, is that kind of the plan? Do you see yourself like becoming a star through this Misfits boxing, showing your personality, getting out there?
Most definitely, man. I always had a platform, I always had the videos, but I just needed the chance to show it to a bigger audience, and now I got my shot.
Yeah, talk us through that as well. Are you ever going to take your style of content creation and use it in the press conferences to troll people?
I do. I just couldn't do it this fight because he wasn't talking back too much. He wasn't with the back talk and the trash talk, so I kept it respectful. But give me an influencer that actually wants to talk smack, make a diss track, stuff like that. I'm all for it.
Yeah, is that harder for you than training, getting ready for a fight? If someone's not really trash talking you, does that is it harder to go in with the intention of hurting them?
Not necessarily, because once you're in the ring, you got to defend yourself or you're gonna get knocked out. But I like talking trash. I think it adds to the promotion and makes the fans more interested. And whenever there's diss tracks involved or videos involved, it's even better for y'all.
Yeah.
So, you talk me through who are some of the influencer boxers you like watching? Who do you find most entertaining in the build up, and then who do you enjoy watching fight?
During build up, obviously, whenever Dina and Walida there's always the back and forth talk. I love that.
Yeah.
Like B Dave, he's a YouTuber as well.
Yeah.
Watching that's mainly it. The rest of them are all like Instagram videos. I'm more of a YouTube type guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and talk us through as well, professional boxing. Do you watch a lot of professional boxing?
I do now.
Yeah, who's some of your favorite boxers?
I like Terrence Crawford. I like
Yeah.
Andre Ward. I like Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, yeah, Floyd's a goat. Like, that's one thing I've never understood. So many people hate on Floyd Mayweather, but how?
Yeah, it's because of it's on purpose because you want to see the villain lose all the time, but he never does. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about these whole exhibitions with Mayweather? I know he announced another one yesterday.
I think if we're going to keep doing them, let it be against big names. Like you can see Deji, okay, you can see Logan Paul, but he fought Aaron Chalmers. I don't know who he's fighting next. It's a no name as well, so he should be
Yeah.
fighting the biggest as possible. Shouldn't be going for these smaller fights with MMA fighters that we've never heard of.
Yeah. Did you watch the fight between Deji and Floyd Mayweather?
I did.
Yeah, what did you think of that fight?
He was very, very late. He made us wait for a long time, but Deji didn't really do too much. He was just there for the paycheck, I guess.
Yeah, I think everyone's got to respect Deji as well because, in a sense, barely anyone will step in a boxing ring anyway. So to step in and fight Floyd Mayweather, it's kind of crazy.
Right. That's a tough fight. You know you're gonna go down in that fight, no matter what.
Yeah, yeah. And talk us through. So a few days ago, just after your fight, there were a fight between Ryan Garcia and oh, I'm getting brain fog.
Tank Davis.
Yeah, Tank Davis. Sorry. What did you think of that fight?
I was surprised that it ended that early. I thought it was gonna go at least like the championship rounds, but Tank Davis's power was too much. He targeted that body, he targeted that head, got the job done.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently as well, Tank had a spy in Garcia's corner in his team.
Yeah, I saw they announced it was the sparring partner. It's
Yeah,
crazy, but stuff like that. I guess in big boxing and high level boxing, gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah. You've got to get that advantage.
Yeah.
So what's been your favorite thing with your whole boxing journey so far? Like your favorite experiences with it?
Discipline. Teach yourself. Like you're in that gym every day. You're forcing yourself to get up when you don't want to, locking in for 3 to 4 hours at a time. You become a different person, a different mind state. You know, you get the best shape of your life as well. You look good, you feel good, and you're healthy.
Yeah, yeah. That's another thing. So, how would you say content creation in boxing, in total, in general, has changed you in the past year? Like, what is the number one difference you would see apart from consistency? Is it the way you behave, or
I definitely feel like I'm a little bit more humble now. Because, like, you always say you're at a bar, right? You see someone talking off, you want to fight him. But as a fighter now, you're like, you know what you can do, you know what he can't do. You don't really go after it as much no more.
yeah? And let's talk. There's something I want to talk about with you. Let's talk about Chase Demore. What did you think with Chase Demore's fight when he started grounding and pounding?
Man, Chase Demore is a character, man. The whole press conference, he was talking smack, he had the air horn. I didn't think he was going to knock him out, but when he did and he kept punching, like, you got to know at some point it's a boxing match on the ground. It could have been way worse. Like, this is already a frowned upon sport, influencer boxing. For that to happen is making us look bad, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's my first thought. I was like, this is just going to put a stain on YouTube boxing in general.
Yeah, but luckily Stephen Knight was okay. He didn't seem too bothered by it. You got to be safe, got to be careful, and know the rules, man. Know the rules.
Yeah.
So do you think Chase Demore should be banned? And I mean, the referee as well needs to be questioned.
I think Chase Moore did get a ban. I think he did.
Yeah, he did for a year.
Yes, sir. That's basic stuff. It's not MMA. You don't hit him. He's on the ground. He's defenseless, hands by his side. Like, that could have been way worse. But
Oh, yeah.
luckily,
Yeah, like I was so shocked when I seen Chase Demore do that. I was like, if he didn't throw those last few punches, he would have won.
a knockout win. It would have been a good story, redemption story. You know, after embarrassing yourself in front of Josh Bruckner in the world with that ghost punch, you guys lick back, but got DQ'd. It's crazy.
Yeah, talk us through. So Chase Demore's first fight, I take it you watched it. What were you thinking when you were seeing what Chase Demore was doing?
It was like, who trained him? Like, he's no way he hard before. He couldn't take a punch. Like in sparring, you're supposed to train your body to get used to have a guy throw a punch at your face. But during that fight, it's like he didn't really want that. Like he never took a punch before, apparently.
Yeah, yeah, and he wants that Josh Bruckner rematch. How do you think that fight would... Oh, pardon me, sorry. Yeah, so he wants that Josh Bruckner rematch. How do you think that fight would go?
He needs 2 more fights before doing that. Because in this fight, he showed, look, if he got good training, he'd be a problem. Because he's very long, muscular, he has range, and he's a big boy, you know, so he doesn't have knockout power. But
Yeah.
at this stage right now, he's missing the fundamentals, the basic fundamentals.
Yeah, I agree.
So I know Happy Punch posted about the Dean the Great versus White Sharks rematch happening. You know, what's your predictions for that? Who are you rooting for and who do you think wins?
Dean is at a good coach with a good camp over there at Long Beach Jackrabbit, but Waleed has been working hard. As you can see, he had a pro fight before this fight to stay sharp. One thing I noticed about Waleed though, in the first round, he's very sloppy. The first couple punches, he wants to get him out of there. He's very, high powered and sloppy. So if Dean can stay locked in, capitalize off that, Dean got it, but Waleed probably gonna knock him out again.
Yeah, yeah, that's the shame about the first fight. I mean, if Wally didn't turn his back, he probably could have came back and won that fight.
Yep. He was winning on the scorecard, so it's gonna be hard for Dean to get back, but we'll see in the rematch. They're both working hard, man. They both want it.
Yeah, and there's been talks that Dean the Great's been ducking Waleed or he's scared to fight Waleed. Do you think that is the case, or do you think Dean the Great does think he'll win that rematch?
I don't think he's ducking. I think they're waiting for the KSI and Jake Paul card to put that fight on, but we'll see what they're going for now.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Do you think that fight's going to happen this year?
Yes.
Okay, and who do you think wins? Are you going for Jake or KSI?
I think as of right now, Jake wins, but we'll see the new KSI after Fournier because Fournier is going to show that KSI has to throw straight punches. He has to have a jab for that fight. If KSI has no jab still after Fournier, then KSI is going to lose.
Yeah, because in the face temper fight, he kept getting caught with straight lefts or just jabs from face temper. He cannot afford to do that with Joe Fournier.
Right. A good boxer that knows how to time you, they know that those straight punches that go faster than looping punches that KSI throws is going to have an issue with KSI all day.
Have you seen Joe Fournier's the training footage that got sped up?
I saw it. There's no need for that. He was looking good regardless, but they're not going to show off their real skill before the fight. They're all doing that for promo to get people talking.
Yeah, he's been with BJ Flores, Jake Paul's ex-coach.
I didn't know that. But
Yeah, a few days ago. Yeah.
They got some plan then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Do you think Joe Fournier was the harder fight between him and Tyron Woodley?
The second time, nah. But the first time, for where Jake was compared to where KSI is now, Tyron Woodley was a harder opponent.
Yeah. And then with Jake Paul, Nate Diaz, if that fight goes ahead, who do you have winning that?
Jake Paul. We'll see if he can knock him out, but it's obvious a boxer beats an MMA fighter in a boxing match 10 times out of 10, most likely, unless there's some, big mismatch, power mismatch.
Yeah. I don't think Jake Paul has it in him to knock out Nate Diaz. I mean, that man can take anything.
Right.
But
we'll see. This is all.
Yeah.
There's no wrestling, no kicks, so it's going to be harder for him to defend himself as long.
Yeah, where do you see Jake Paul going? Like, obviously, we've got the KSI fight, but do you think, say, if he lost to Nate Diaz, even if he won that, do you think he's just going to pick MMA fighters? Do you think he's going to try and avoid that professional boxers now after Tommy Fury?
I think he's back to square one, square two, because as you've seen, he took a real boxer in Tommy Fury. He could have won that fight, but the skills just wasn't there yet. He has a new coach now. He might do 2 or 3 more fights with low-level boxers and MMA fighters to get back to that level because he wants that rematch for sure, but it's about how soon. It's not about now.
Yeah, because he's back with Shane Mosley and another coach, ain't he?
Yeah, Shane Mosley will get him right. That's a good coach.
Oh yeah, because even when he was going, it's Big Bear, ain't it, up in the mountains, the hills. Yeah. Even when he was going there before the Anise and Gibb fight, he was looking good. He was putting in the work. I feel like maybe with BJ Flores, maybe they're just getting a bit too reliant on what Jake Paul can do with his power.
That's definitely what happened. They think they can get him out of there, get anybody else out of there, but comes a time when you got to learn the box, got to learn to jab somebody out.
Yeah, because he was doing the same thing. And I mean, Tommy Fury, after a few rounds, he was predicting it. He seen it coming.
Yeah. Tommy had him read by that halfway point of that fight.
Oh, yeah. Sooner. Yeah, and it was funny when Tommy started taunting Jake Paul because we all see Jake Paul taunting other people. So it was just funny to see Jake finally get taunted.
How the tables have turned,
Yeah, legit. And what did you think when Tommy Fury got knocked down by Jake Paul? Were you thinking how?
Nah, we saw the angles. It was a balance issue. A good knockdown, a fair knockdown. It was not a slip, but it was just balance.
Yeah, yeah, and talk us through the rematch. I don't want to go on about Jake Tommy too long, but talk us through the rematch. Who do you think gets the job done?
Depends on when it happens. If he takes another Nate Diaz, KSI route, maybe one more fight after that, and then goes back with the Shane Mosley camp, it's a closer fight than we thought. But Tommy has no power. It's not going to be a knockout. It could be another decision win.
Yeah, yeah, and as well, let's. Did you watch Creator Clash 2?
I did.
Yeah, what did you think of that fight between iDubbbz and Alex Wasabi?
I think Wasabi gassed out a little bit, but he showed that he has boxing ability. He's very skilled. He has a good IQ. He didn't have the power that we thought he would because he should have put iDubbbz to sleep the way he was outboxing him.
Yeah, and he
had a chin, a good chin.
Yeah, and he definitely should not fight KSI. I mean, if he fought KSI that last fight, he would have been slept.
Literally, couldn't keep him off him.
Yeah.
Was there anyone on that Creator Cash card who you looked at as a potential future opponent for you?
Future opponent. I like that Myth fight. I felt like that'd be a good, entertaining, stylistic match. Myth got hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and what do you think of that?
But his opponent was not ready for that. He wasn't expecting him to have that power. Got him good in the chin, one clean punch. So all it takes sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And as well, let's just speak quickly. Deji, have you followed Deji along his boxing journey, or have you just watched him recently?
I watch all of his fights. Yeah, I've seen the journey.
Okay, so my first question before we dive into one of his fights then is, what do you take away from Deji's boxing journey? Do you find it inspiring? Is there any messages? I mean, because we've seen he lost his first 3 fights and then he came back. So talk us through, what do you think about Deji's mindset in his way of being consistent even when he's down in the dumps?
Definitely is inspired to teach his kids to never give up. He lost 3 times in a row on the big stage, been humbled. People don't know that's kind of embarrassing, with that all that pressure, you talking trash in the build up, the whole world's watching you, and then you're gonna lose like that 3 times in a row. It takes a toll on you mentally and emotionally. It's very humbling. But the fact that he can come back from that, get W, and now he's back at the top of the world, it's very inspiring.
Yeah, in Deji versus Swarms, who do you have winning that fight?
I think it's going to go the distance. I think Swarm's going to impress, but Dead's going to win.
Okay. And yeah, and as you were on about the fear of losing, does that cross your mind that every time before you have a fight? Is that what kind of drives you to go out and do better?
Yes, you don't want to get knocked out on the big stage like that. You don't want to become a meme, you got to perform the best you can. Otherwise, you're going to be on a t-shirt,
Yeah. Do you find it hard to control your adrenaline before fights, or is it quite easy for you?
It's easy for me. I'm a relatively calm person, relatively nonchalant, so it's easier for me.
Yeah.
So when you're backstage, with the Misfits fight, you were backstage, you're getting ready and everything. What was going through your mind? Were you calm? Was your adrenaline going?
I don't know if I mentioned this before. We had an issue with like having to come out early and then going back in and having to come back out. So a little bit of adrenaline dumps, but once we got settled down, everything was on time. I was good to go. Just locked in, focus on the fight at hand.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, and it prepares you for the future. I mean, if that ever happens again, you know what's coming. So,
yep, it was my first ever experience with that, so I just got to get the ropes,
Yeah, and just quickly as well, before Cal has any more messages, do you have any words for smaller creators or people who are looking to get into this creator boxing?
People got to remember it's creator boxing and not real boxing. I be seeing people on Twitter or on Instagram with 10 followers saying they want to fight the Misfits one day. You got to be a content creator first. Otherwise, just go to real boxing,
Yeah. And Cal, do you have any more questions for OJ Rosé?
Yeah, I just want to ask, we asked this here to off, I guess, but give me your top 5, influencer boxers.
Top 5. Obviously, the big 3, KSI, Jake Paul, and Salt Poppy.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put Le'Veon Bell in there. And I'm going to put Gibb in there.
Okay. And then how do you think Winston Nunes could compete with those people?
I got to see one more fight with Nunes because he looks really good. I just can't. I don't know if Philip Peck was a good opponent, but he looks very good so far. He looks like a tank, good fundamentals, so it's going to be a good fight regardless.
Yeah, I mean, Winston Nunes fought a pro boxer, didn't he? Fought a pro boxer in an exhibition, did very well over there. How do you think him versus King Kenny goes?
I think it's going to be Kenny has to show out because this is his last chance to show he can throw that right hand and not just throw jabs. Winston's not going to back out. He's not going to back down. It's going to be a good fight, good style of two matchup.
Yeah. I actually think Winderson's holding back a lot of what he can do. In that fight, it looked like he was doing 30-40% of his capabilities.
Right. He's trying to make sure people don't realize he's been in the gym. He's been a beast. He's been a dog for the past couple months.
Yeah. Do you think that is the smart thing about creator boxing? Do you think it is smart to kind of play on your skill and maybe pretend to be a bit worse than what you actually are?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do when you're in that ring against somebody trying to take your head off, but you'll know when someone's a trained boxer before. Like Salt Poppy, they were saying he had 34 amateur fights because of his experience, but we all know he's at least been doing this for a couple of years longer than he's saying he has.
Yeah, I think that is the genuine thought on Twitter and in the community that everyone thinks he's had years and years of sparring fights. I mean, they were even talking he had 40 or 50 fights in the Philippines.
Yeah, I heard about that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, so what are some of your dream fights going forward? You mean you could put dream fights for yourself, obviously, and then just for other influencer boxers in general?
I want to see DDG fight Pretty Boy Fredo. That's been a long-standing beef on YouTube, actual YouTube beef. I want to see destroying. I don't know if you know about him destroying the YouTuber. He does football content. Fight anybody really. Once Gideon fight, he's been in the talks to fight for a long time. I want to see all the actual YouTubers that are top of the game right now, like Mr. Beast, Gideon. I want to see them have guys fight.
Yeah, I want to see PewDiePie.
PewDiePie, I feel like he might. You never know. You never know.
Yeah. Cal, any more questions before I've got one more, but
yeah, you ask yours then, yeah.
Okay, so JMX, Levy and Bell. Obviously, you said Levy and Bell's in your top 5, so I thought I'd ask this. So, did you expect Levy and Bell to win that fight?
Yeah, I knew he was going to win. Levy and Bell went all the way with Uriah Hall, a trained UFC fighter. JMX's resume just doesn't have that kind of prowess.
Yeah. And quickly, before we wrap up, is there anything you want to say to the audience? Is there any final message you have?
I just want to get my credit because I'm a TikToker that took this fight on short notice. A trained MMA fighter, 3-3 in Bellator, and I knocked him out in the second round. I want my credit for that. That's no easy task. I want people to know that it's a big thing. It's a big deal. I'm up next.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's it been for this episode. Cal, do you want to say your goodbyes?
Yeah, dude. I just thank you to OJ Rosé for coming on. And it's been a good episode. And it's been interesting to hear your thoughts on this and your whole journey with boxing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I just want to say as well, thank you for coming on. Hopefully we can get you on again. If it's your next fight or whatever, we'll hit you up and hopefully you can come back on.
All right. We'll do.
But enjoy your rest of your day, sir.
Thank you very much.